everyone, Mia Paulus here. So today we're going to talk about the lies we all tell ourselves as entrepreneurs, including myself. So all business owners lie, not maliciously and not with bad intentions, but we all lie, first and foremost to ourselves. And these lies keep us trapped at our current level of personal and professional growth. They keep us playing small and prevent us from reaching our full potential. So today I'm going to take a look at the lies business owners tell ourselves. Let's go. Okay, so I need your help first and foremost. So I'm looking at actually creating a podcast titled All Entrepreneurs Are Liars. So before you judge me on that title, let's get through today's video, and then I would love your feedback on if you feel like this title resonates with you, because I think it's something that we all struggle with. And it's not so much about calling you all out as liars, but it's more calling myself out and hopefully getting entrepreneurs to understand the lies that we tell ourselves that are holding us back. So if I can be the guinea pig to show what you shouldn't do, and you can learn from me. Hopefully I can help a lot of entrepreneurs not make the same mistakes that I did. Okay, so let's officially get started and dig into some of the lies that we tell ourselves. So one of the lies I hear all the time that I told myself too is that we are farther along than we are. I've seen a lot of startups that have tried to build big teams and get it all in place, even though they haven't gotten the first 10 customers yet. Or they created a product hoping that customers wanted it and didn't go and validate it first. So we're kind of skipping steps a lot of times when we think we're farther along than we are. For me, like in my early stages, I was like, if I get a big office and I hire lots of employees, they'll just come, right? I invested a lot of money in the early phases that wasn't really required yet. And so I think it's important to be honest with what we need to do now. A lot of times we want to start marketing before we really have, again, validated our product again. Like we need to go make sure we have something that people want and know what is required when. I know it's because we're really excited to get to the end part of our vision and get there as fast as we can, but there's an order of operations. And I always talk about a lot of these videos like sitting on our hands, right? Sometimes as entrepreneurs, because we get excited about the future and the next thing, it just comes natural with our nature. But sometimes we have to sit on our hands and focus on what needs to happen today for the phase of business we're in. Okay, a second lie we tell ourselves is that we have to plan it first and then execute second. And I want to challenge you that so much happens when you actually start. So much of the process and the documentation can happen as you go. And so I challenge you to plan as little as possible and just start to execute and start to build the plan and flow as you go. Especially when you're small, you can afford to do that more. Or if you're a larger corporation and you need to start to test things out, go and create specialized teams that can go and just execute and move fast to where it won't affect the rest of the organization. There's a book called The Lean Startup, and I love their philosophies and principles in there about this experimenting, that we need, no matter the size of business we all need to have that startup mentality. So even if we're a large corporation, we still need to be willing to experiment and test and execute without over planning. And I kind of attribute this back to, you think about like Elon Musk. Like if I had to give any example, it's like, well, you obviously want to plan first if you're going to build a rocket. But Elon Musk didn't have that philosophy even with rockets. He had the philosophy, well, I would rather shoot a rocket up and have it blow up, and we will get so much more data from that rocket getting blown up than we will if we plan it to death hoping that it works. And obviously he didn't risk this with people's lives first. He did unmanned rockets. And so understand the risk. If there's no people in there and he had the money, which he had, I think, enough for 3 or 4 rockets, by the 4th rocket, he got it done. And he was able to, by blowing up the rockets, he was able to have a successful launch on that 4th rocket. Okay, another lie is a lie I told myself is that we need to start with the big vision. So I had a really clear vision back in 2006 of what I should do. And I had this idea of doing all these services for companies and creating this outsourcing company where they could literally dump 80% that was the same in every business into a company. And so I tried to start doing a lot of things, even though I really started with, I guess, accounting and virtual telephone answering service stuff. But after that, I started to get too broad too quick. And I didn't deepen those channels first. And now I'm past a lot of those big hurdles and humps. But the thing is that it would have gotten me faster. I probably would have shaved off a decade of our growth if I would have started much more niched and small, knowing that I was going to get to that bigger vision. So be willing to realize it's like Dave Ramsey's baby steps, right? That he does. Like Understand there's baby steps to get to the end goal. Another lie we tell ourselves is that sales solves everything. But sales can break everything too. And that's what we don't realize, is that sometimes we have to realize that we need to pivot and shift to focusing, as if you're like a growth company, sometimes you need to shift and pivot into being focused on and creating more value to the customer quicker. Sometimes that pivot is necessary, and that can actually help your sales naturally, but sales often breaks the systems that you have and the processes you have. So it's kind of like whack-a-mole, I feel like sometimes, because you have to realize that you can drown your company. And even from cash flow perspective, if don't have an eye on cash flow, sales, if you're not getting paid up front for your customers, you can run out of cash flow easily with bringing on more sales. So just be mindful that sales doesn't solve everything. I think it's a blend of a lot of different things. Knowing what to do in each phase is critical. Okay, so like I said at the beginning of this video, before we dive into other lies that we tell ourselves, I would love your feedback on if these lies are helpful, if I can show you the mistakes that I made and start having discussions with other entrepreneurs as well of the mistakes that they're making. I'm hoping we can pull them all together and be able to not all make the same mistakes again, right? Let's learn from each other. So if you think that it'd be valuable, a podcast called All Entrepreneurs Are Liars, I would love your comments and the feedback, what you think of that. And also like and subscribe these channels for more tips like this on really smoothing out all those speed bumps that we encounter as entrepreneurs. So again, I would love it if you'd like and subscribe. That'll get more entrepreneurs coming into our channel as well, and we can serve more entrepreneurs. Okay, another lie is that we can make multiple offerings or core offers that we have successful at once. I see so many entrepreneurs, they think that success is by having more ideas, and it isn't. It's by picking one idea and sticking with it. I wish we would have insight into how many entrepreneurs quit right before they were right at the turning point of success. Because I think we don't realize how hard it is to get one offering successful. And so we just start creating a whole bunch more offerings thinking, well, one will stick, but it's really the focus and the dedication that's going to get you there. That's what a lot of people don't realize, is that if you just take this calculated process and approach that I share with you in all these videos, it will get you there and get you there faster. And it's not about having more ideas. That is probably the Achilles heel of us as entrepreneurs that keeps so many of us from going to that next level. So back in the day, this is kind of the last slide I'll mention is back in the day, I had this mentality that if I just hire a lot of employees, that shows success. So the business is just going to come in, right? And it's interesting. Now it's shifted from, hey, I want a lot of employees, to I'm just going to manage a lot of VAs. And it's an interesting thing because we shifted from wanting to have this image of sophistication with companies to having this image of lifestyle entrepreneur. But the problem is that what we're trying to do is create the lifestyle, but we actually ended up taking away the lifestyle, because now you're literally an employee or a project manager. You're not really an entrepreneur anymore, because you're now having to manage VAs, and you're not able to create depth in your organization of leaders and be able to grow your company to the next level. And so I guess, that works for really, where we got wrong is we assumed that was the model for all types of companies. Now that will work for companies that want to stay small, that are open to becoming more of that freelancer type, that don't ever plan to really sell their company, because it's not really sellable if you're doing all the work. So they're really after it for just cash flow. So it's really truly just a job with a lot of extra stress, in my opinion. So I am a believer of, let's get you to the next level. That mid area is messy. I want to get people past that mid area, which is the toughest area too to get past. There's a lot of things you got to do in that pre-scale phase, but that is the messy area that we want to get you over as fast as possible, because one, that phase isn't fun, but two, it's just hard. Like once you get into that, past it, you can, you have the depth, you have the team, you have the structure, the processes, and you can get to having fun again in your company. I think if you know what you need to do in that phase, it makes it easier. But ultimately, we want to get you to create more sophisticated companies. So that's really the entrepreneurs that I'm looking to attract in this channel, is the ones that really want to take their business to the next level, ones that want to create sustainable, scalable, and replicable companies, ones that are willing to think outside the box in the way they design their company. There is no one size fits all in the way we design it. It really depends on the lifestyle that you want. So let's create sophisticated companies that actually give us a bigger lifestyle, because we could leave for 3 months in our business and still have it grow and run without us. To me, that's a true lifestyle entrepreneur. I'm getting a little passionate here. You can't tell. So really, I just want you to have this better life, be able to be true to who you are, spend more time with your family, spend more time giving back in your community. That's really what all this is about. And so if you really want to learn more about who you are, what phase of business you're in, and what's important, I have a free assessment you can take that actually will actually tell you what phase of business you're in and what you need to, what's important in that phase. It's you can go to theimpactequation.com and really determine what's important in your business so that you can get to growing a successful, sustainable company. So again, go to theimpactequation.com.